I was adopted at birth by an affluent couple who were unable to have kids of their own. I always had a good relationship with my mom, but my dad and my relationship was more complex. He was quite strict and would make rude comments. We were always butting heads. At 14, they moved us to Europe for a year and uprooted my life at a sensitive age. I left all my friends and my boyfriend, who I loved, for over a year and was in total isolation. I'd say I was quite promiscuous the year I dated, like 7 different boys at my school. I was just acting out because of anger or whatever. I didn't actually have sex until I was 15, and I dated an older boy for 2 years. I got pregnant, and we were planning on keeping it. We were happy and excited, but I had a miscarriage. After that, I went into a deep, dark depression and turned to drinking, drugs, and ended up cheating on him. And towards the end, it was so toxic, I vowed not to be with a man again, and I wanted to start dating women. I dated a woman for a year or so, but never anything serious as far as relationships. And that's when I met the main love of my life. When I met my partner, I was at a very vulnerable part of my life. My grandmother, who was like my mother to me, had just died, and I was a hot mess. At this point, I was also only interested in dating women, so when we met, I explained that to him. I think that intrigued him. He liked a challenge. We hit it off right away and even ended up kissing that night. But I explained I was into this girl and wasn't looking for a relationship. We were just friends for a few months, which turned into friends with benefits, and we were both dating around a lot at this point. He really was unlike anyone I'd ever met, and I was falling in love with him. Emotionally and physically, our chemistry was amazing. We even ended up having 3 and foursomes with different combinations of men and women. When I first met him, his younger brother was with him, and we all ended up hanging out a lot together. One night we decided to have a 3-way, and so it was so much fun. We started dating. At least 5 years went by when we were exclusive. We ended up having a baby together, and everything was fine for the first year, but I had some lingering postpartum and was home a lot with the baby, and our relationship lacked excitement. I ended up hooking up with his brother one time without him after all these years. The fact it was a secret and so taboo made it more exciting. I immediately felt regret and guilt, but the excitement was too intoxicating. I was still in love with my baby daddy, so I shut it down. Years and years went by, and I'm still in a relationship and in love. Actually, my biological sister, who I had recently met, ended up hooking up with my boyfriend's brother, and they had a child. Which is beside the point, but still pretty crazy. We have now been together for 15 years. We had a break after the incident of about a year, but I really do love him more than anyone. There has been many things that have happened over the years, and he's been my rock and always supported me. We have worked through the bullshit and came out the other side happier than ever, and both have grown and changed over the years for the better. In fact, we just celebrated our new baby's 1-year birthday. His 9-year-old brother is thrilled, and they love each other so much. So in the end, it didn't hurt us. It actually made us stronger. I definitely felt remorse at the time and still do to this day. It has affected us negatively in the sense that family reunions are a little bit awkward, and especially because his brother has a drinking problem and has lost his family with his sister, so he brings things up from the past and tries to bring me down sometimes. But overall, I'm happy with the outcome. My partner knows how much I care about and love him, and we are happily monogamous with 2 healthy boys that know that they are loved. I don't see any other affairs in our future. I'm just happy I got out of my funk and was able to love my life and my current family.
My teacher used to pick on me for being gay, Story time. When I was a child, I had a teacher who used to terrorize me for being more girlier than the rest of the boys in the class. She used to say awful things to me like, I can't act a certain way because I'm not a girl, or pink can't be my favorite color, I need to pick a boy color, or stop hanging out with so many girls, you need to hang out with the little boys. And for a long time, I didn't tell anybody. I let this lady pick on me for way too long. I eventually did tell, but that's a story time for another day. Anyways, one day around Halloween, she thought it would be fun to bring every single kid in the class a costume to wear for the day. Now, that sounded like fun until she started handing everybody their costumes, and when she got to me, she pulled out a fairy costume. And then she was like, well, since you always act like a fairy, I thought this costume would be appropriate for you. And me being a kid, I didn't even understand what she was trying to say to me, but the joke ended up being on her because I actually liked the costume, and so did all the little girls and boys in my class. Bitch.
Hello, people. I'm Mindy. I'm 19 years old, and yesterday, I broke up with a guy. In the morning, I was the happiest girl in the world, and by evening, wept with grief. I dated Frank for more than 5 months. We were a great couple. At least, I thought so. We spent every day together. We went for walks, ate in cafes, and watched movies. A month ago, Frank proposed to me. We even picked out an apartment to live in, a cute one on the corner near the park. Every day, I imagine myself living there with Frank, how happy we would be. And yesterday, everything collapsed. That day, I returned home early. Sandy, my older sister, was not home. She knew that I would come home for a few hours later after class. I decided to play a trick on her and crawled under her bed to scare her. Yes, I know I'm not 6 years old. I'm 19, but it's an old game of ours and I just wanted to remember my childhood. When the front door slammed shut, I sneaked into Sandy's room and hid under her bed. The stairs creaked. Someone was walking down the hallway, and I heard 2 voices, male and female. I realized Sandy had come home with some guy, and I'm sitting under the bed like a stupid little girl. I felt so ashamed. I wanted to get out, but did not have time. The door creaked, and I saw my sister's legs. And then, very familiar shoes. Is it really Frank? But we'd not made any plans to meet up. He probably just wanted to give me a pleasant surprise. What a terribly awkward situation. I decided that I would not crawl out from under the bed. I did not want to look completely stupid in Frank's eyes. My sister and Frank were standing very close, and I could not understand what they were doing. There was some rustling sounds, strange sounds, and then a kiss. No, it can't be. I definitely heard it. Sandy and Frank went to the bed. I heard the mattress creak. They sat very close. There was the sound of kissing, again and again. I distinctly heard the rustle of clothes and the sound of a zipper unfastening. This was probably Frank's windbreaker. I had given him a fashionable Nike jacket for his birthday. I put my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming with rage. Frank, honey, I missed you so much. Sorry. I know that we don't get to spend much time together, but you understand. I don't want to wait anymore. You have to tell Mindy everything. Sorry, dear, but I can't. Mindy's so vulnerable. She dreams of a wedding, so I want to wait for the right moment. Mindy is just a spoiled little brat. You've got to be brave. Tell her it's over. Honey, I feel sorry for her. But I'll tell her. I promise I'll tell her. Come here, gorgeous. And again, the sounds of kisses. I felt my heart breaking apart. Only at that moment did I understand why poets love this image so much. I really felt something break inside me, and pain and cold filled my soul. They kissed and told each other sweet nonsense, and I lay there under the bed, quietly sobbing. Even after Sandy and Frank were long gone, I cried and cried. Then, I got out, washed and wiped my face. I pulled myself together. When Sandy returned, I confronted her quite calmly. Sandy, I'm sorry. I accidentally overheard one of your conversations. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I really am a naive fool. All this time, I believed you, considered you the closest person to me, and you betrayed me. I'm very sorry that I was so wrong about you. Then I called Frank and said that I no longer wanted to see him. Here I am, sitting in my room completely alone, and I'm writing this story. I no longer have a sister and no boyfriend. My dreams are shattered. Were you ever betrayed by a loved one? How did you cope with it? And where did you get your strength from?